Jonathan Kuminga, our next draft prospect on the draft season player profiles for this year's draft. A very polarizing prospect, especially on this episode. We have our boy Sky Drew with us. Let's jump right into it. How do you feel about him, Drew?
I question his feel of the game, and I feel like that's where everything stems from. Like, I feel like sometimes he doesn't understand what he's trying to be doing on the court, and it kind of hides how fascinating of an athlete he is, because he does have a lot of tools to work with. It's just seeing it happen on the court play out is just inconsistent. What about you, Sean?
Thumbing through the Kuminga tape was, let's just say, an experience. He only played 13 games, obviously on the G League Ignite. If you don't know about Kuminga, he was a part of the crop with Jalen Green and Deshaun Nix. These first guys to really test the waters of this prep to pro, to say the least, pathway into the league. And he came out, I believe he was the number 4 prospect, the high school prospect, recruiting services. 6'8", 7 foot wingspan, 210. He has the physical tools. He has, he flashes the fluidity that you love, that's rare from a guy that size. It's easy to fall in love with the tools here. And even early in the process, I know early it's tough, because I do feel like his G League Ignite tape peaked early. It probably peaked in the first couple games, and it was probably downhill afterwards, to be honest. I know checking out, I was listening to, I believe it was Draft Express guys, Gavoni. I believe he was on a podcast. He was on a podcast with Zach Lowe, and when he was just taking the temperature of scouts and teams, there was guys who said they felt like Kuminga kind of quit on the whole experience. The film left a lot to be desired here, and whenever we're talking about prospects, we have to keep in mind that these guys are not finished prospects or finished products, and sometimes the light bulb does go off for guys later than others. But to actually talk about his game, there was a lackadaisicalness in his game that really kind of irked me, I would say. Like poor closeouts or bad transition defense that, for somebody his size and somebody that has, the grace and athleticism that he has, it's really easy stuff that you could say could be fixed. But I'm not in the business of just, excusing guys for effort-based errors or just not, giving their all. And he's extremely raw as a player. So that's kind of the quandary that Kuminga is in as a player. But for you, Raz, what did you make of what you saw from his 13 games with the Ignite?
Yeah, I just saw the explosion. That's just kind of just was eye-opening for me. He's just kind of just a freak athlete, and to you guys' point, at least to Drew's point, where he says he doesn't feel like he has a feel of the actual game. I think he has decent skill set, in terms of a handle and pass. I don't think he's ever going to be obviously a high-level playmaker. I think he has all of the tools to turn it up on the other end, on the defensive side, if he really puts his mind to that type of production. But that's not scoring. I think he'll be able to defend multiple positions in the NBA, and I think that's kind of one of those things where if you start looking at his intangibles and just the things he can do from a physical standpoint, I think in the right spot he'll be able to be coached and turn a lot of that stuff on. I don't think he's ever going to be a knockdown three-point shooter, but he's going to be able to pull up, penetrate in the lane, and be a good passer for his position. Transition, he's going to be incredible. So if he's able to run the floor and fill the lanes, he's going to be just a solid scorer and rebounder for a team.
Yeah, I think the dribble needs to improve. The other thing with Kuminga is he took a lot of mid-range shots, and that's kind of where he wants to get to. We can talk about, is he gonna really be good enough to deserve those shots at the next level. Like he's gonna have to improve. He's gonna have to really improve that part of the game to really make it a part to where it's just like, yo, we're gonna teams are gonna be like, all right, cool, we're cool with you taking a bunch of these mid-range shots. We talk about the analytics. We talk about Minota, the nerd, take the mid-range shot. But the thing is, you have to be, you got to be above average to elite to really necessitate taking those shots. And the dribble variation is just something that I saw a lot from him. He, not to make the Siakam comparison, but he definitely loves doing the spin move and turning his up the shoulder. Yep. But he's going to need some more dribble variation and a better change of pace. To really, just give himself, or just make himself a little more, funky and crafty as a scorer. Because I do believe, if he really were able to contain his first step, once teams kind of just sat on that when they weren't really buying the shot, it kind of made him, a little predictable. But like I said, the tools here are what really stands out here. And I know a lot of people make the Jaylen Brown comparison with Kuminga, and that's a tough one for me because I think if we put one and done Jaylen in this Ignite scenario, I think he would have tore it up to a different level than Kuminga probably would. So I do think that's another one.
And another difference between the two, everything we hear about Jaylen Brown, between the years, they say he's always been the hardest worker. He's always been.
I've heard. I don't want to make that. Yeah, and I don't want to make the case. I've heard a lot of things about Kuminga being a hard worker as well. So I don't want to.
You have?
Yeah, I have. I have seen it. A lot of people he looking I forgot his high school coach played in New Jersey, but I've read good things about him. So I'm not gonna it's a fair point. I see where you're coming from, but I'm not gonna hold that against him. But yeah, man, I do think it is a pandemic year, so I'm the type to give dudes the benefit of the doubt here, but it's gonna be about him to really, take these skill development and really show, because I do think it was easy to tell when he was playing a bit passive on the court and kind of just settling. And when you have that type of physical ability, that's not really something, that's not a great sign. And when you talk about those guys who are when guys show a bit of passivity, that's not really something that I would say, when guys show an aloofness on the court, that's sort of it's more of a feature than it is a bug when the guys
that's just who develop. You are.
Yeah, it turns into who you are. But Kuminga is he's raw, so that's what I'm saying. Prospect development is not linear, and like I said earlier, sometimes the light bulb does go off later.
Could he play in an NBA rotation next year?
Should be able to.
I think defensively is going to be a spot for him. I think I would want to see him more as a 4 early than a 3. I do think taking advantage of posting up smaller guys in the post is something that he actually is pretty good at. I want to, but that's what comes back to instincts and just improving his feel for the game. But yeah, where are you at with him, Raz? This is about concerns or if you had to project things that you wanted to see him work on early in his career.
I mean, I think he's gonna need more diversity in moves. That's just gonna be for the first thing he needs to work on is just the offensive game. Get a few more post moves, maybe an off the dribble move, and just work on his array of layup packages and dunks. I think he needs to work on his focus. I think in a lot of those clips that we just watched, there were some bunnies that he tends to miss. I don't know if it's just he's not.
So the touch is.
That's what I'm saying. There's things that have to happen. I think he needs to, stop turning it over as well. I think he turns the ball over way too much for somebody who's not going to be a ball handler. It's one of those things where it's why are these touches resulting in turnovers? You're supposed to put the ball in the basket. And just these, the ceiling, floor, and sweet spot, courtesy of the CBS Sports people. They said they have a player comp for his ceiling at DeMar DeRozan. Floor, Jeff Green, which, shout out to Jeff Green. That's disrespectful because Jeff Green before the injury and the hard stuff was.
I could see it.
Not as a floor.
But not as a floor. As good as Jeff Green. That's what, as good as Jeff Green was supposed to. Than Jeff Green. Yeah, and they have the sweet spot as Rudy Gay.
I don't see that at all. Rudy Gay was one of the smoothest scorers coming out of college. What are we doing here? That's a bad one.
That's the sweet spot, I guess.
But Rudy was a pure bucket coming out. Like
but Rudy Gay also kind of just only was a bucket.
Kuminga is a defensive-minded player right now.
Yeah.
With a very limited arsenal.
I think he was. Oh yeah, I mean Rudy Gay has. That's what I'm saying. Like we're also forgetting about the talent that Rudy Gay had in this.
That's what I'm saying. Rudy Gay was
one of the greatest 2K players of all time. But I think personally, Kuminga it's gonna come down to just developing and then polishing that offensive game to go along with that athleticism.
I think the Kuminga thing is going to come down to like how much do you truly believe in, your developmental team as a culture and as an NBA team. Just looking at his stats real quick, like 39% from the field, 25% from three, 64% free throw. It was a lot of, it's a lot. It's leaving a lot to really be seen from that end on him. The offense has a long way to go, and like I said about the shot profile, a lot of it's a mid range. Like he was a lot of diet of mid range shots. So he has to improve a lot of a shooter to really have that in his bag at the next level. But for fits for Kuminga, we've seen his fit anywhere from it's funny because he was somebody who was seen as a contender to dethrone Cade possibly at the beginning of the cycle when we really talked about him. He's not dethroning Cade. Will he go in the top 5? Seems unlikely at the time being, but he might fall right there at one of those OKC or Orlando spots. So where do you guys think he fits best? And I mean, sometimes we don't talk about this enough, but the landing spot matters so much. It ends up playing a part into the habits that you develop as a player, and what you are asked to do early and what is allowed for you to do. So, going to a place where he gets free reign to jack up a bunch of mid-range shots and really not really locking on defense all the time. That could be problematic.
Kuminga has a lot to work on. Lots of potential in that one, but it could be boom or bust given his intangibles. But this is the draft season podcast. We're signing off with another player profile.